The probe was supposed to hit bottom in 6 hours. That was 8 months ago, and it's still falling. A $3.2 million titanium-reinforced machine, built to withstand unimaginable pressure, was swallowed whole by a hole in Siberia that geologists insist should not exist. According to every model of Earth's crust, this void is geologically impossible. Yet it's growing larger every year. At first, the data looked routine, depth increasing, temperature climbing. But then the instruments began transmitting something no one could explain. Sudden drops in pressure, seismic readings spiking into chaos, and metallic groaning that matched no known geological phenomenon. Imagine listening to the heartbeat of the planet itself. Only this sounded more like something massive, breathing. Some scientists claim the probe was still falling when its signal abruptly cut out. Others whisper about sounds picked up after the transmission should have ended, sounds that didn't come from the probe at all, but from below it. What happened to that $3.2 million probe? Did it vanish into a bottomless void, or something far worse? Tell me, would you dare to send another probe, knowing it might not be falling into empty space, but into something that's been waiting? The drilling team knew something was wrong when their compasses started spinning wildly. Then the GPS died, and then, 50 meters from their rig, the ground began to whisper. What they uncovered next would force them to question everything they knew about the planet. The shaft was no ordinary sinkhole. Perfectly cylindrical, wide enough to swallow a passenger jet, and its walls smooth. Too smooth. Some of the crew swore it looked polished, almost engineered. One geologist later admitted it felt like the walls were designed to carry a sound, like the hollow breathing they had already recorded echoing from below. The crew's terror was about to get worse, because the Yakut elders had been warning about this place for centuries. They called it YRDYK, the Hungry Earth. For 800 years, hunters marked this exact location on their maps with a single warning. The ground listens, and it remembers. Most dismissed the stories as folklore, but the hole matched their description exactly. When scientists lowered probes, the data didn't just surprise them. It shattered our understanding of planetary geology. Normally, deeper layers heat up, but at 400 meters, the thermometer dropped to minus 40 degrees Celsius. At 800 meters, it hit minus 80 degrees Celsius, colder than the surface of Mars. And then came the seismic scans. They showed the chamber wasn't static, it was expanding. Slowly, year by year. A void like this should be impossible. Yet here it is growing, which forces a chilling question. Are we witnessing a natural phenomenon, or something constructed, one with intent? The world's most advanced technology was about to meet something it couldn't understand. $15 million worth of equipment. AI systems designed to map cave networks. Robotic arms capable of surgical precision in space. All of it would fail in ways that defied explanation. At exactly 847 meters, every probe's pressure sensors registered impossible readings. Negative atmosphere pressure, as if the air itself was being consumed. Temperature gauges fluctuated wildly, and robotic cameras froze mid-frame. AI systems began transmitting urgent messages. Chamber expanding during observation. Geometry does not compute. Recommend immediate retreat. The metallic groan that followed was unforgettable. 17 seconds long, deep and resonant. It matched no geological phenomenon in any database. Scientists later described it as alive. Even sonar failed. Signals bent and twisted, returning distorted echoes, as if something deep below absorbed them. Teams from the Russian Academy of Sciences tried simulations, but modern geophysics couldn't explain a single reading. Each failed attempt only added to the fear. If machines built to survive the depths of space were being destroyed by invisible forces, what chance would human explorers have? Comment go if curiosity wins, stop if fear does. As the scientific failures mounted, the terror began to manifest in the scientists' minds. One lead geologist, a man who had faced down volcanoes and deep-sea trenches, was found huddled in his bunk, repeating the same phrase. It's not a hole. It's an eye. What was happening wasn't just fear. Researchers describe it as an existential dread, a form of megalophobia where the mind cannot cope with the vastness of the unknown. Dr. Sarah Chun, the expedition psychologist, documented the phenomenon. Hardened scientists who had explored the deepest ocean trenches were reduced to panic attacks from a 10-second video clip. This wasn't normal phobic response. It was primal terror. Even those who had never seen the whole reported physiological responses: rapid heartbeat, adrenaline surges, and involuntary shivers when watching simulations. The nightmares were vivid and disturbing. The hole wasn't static in their dreams. It pulsed like a living thing, spreading across the sky like spilled ink, consuming entire cities block by block. Some crew members woke up checking their floors, convinced the ground beneath them had become hollow. The mission was canceled, but the questions remained. If you're on that team, having witnessed the terror firsthand, what would you do? Comment leak to expose the truth, or silence to protect the world from this terrifying knowledge. The hole in Siberia isn't an isolated curiosity. It sits atop a hierarchy of terror. The classification protocol ranks voids based on 3 criteria: geological impossibility, equipment failure rate, and psychological impact on research teams. Siberia scores maximum on all 3. Around the globe, similar phenomena are emerging. In 2022, the Patagonian abyss devoured 3 Chilean research drones worth $2 million. Greenland's ice fissures emit infrasound at 0.1 Hz, the same frequency that drove Siberian scientists to dread. In northern Canada, a perfectly circular void appeared overnight, its walls absorbing light like cosmic darkness. Seismic data suggests these voids aren't separate. They pulse in synchronization, as if they are apertures of a vast, unseen network beneath the Earth's crust. Climate change is the accelerator. Every degree of warming reveals new voids. Scientists fear we're not discovering them, we're awakening them. Indigenous knowledge adds another layer. The Inuit call these portals Nulliajuc's eyes, warning that the Earth remembers and reacts. The Greenland fissures' low-frequency groans weren't just similar to Siberia. They were identical, as if a single, hidden source was broadcasting worldwide. If these voids are interconnected and growing, what happens when they finally link up? Would you want to find out? Comment connect or seal. After repeated probe failures, scientists turned to AI for pattern detection. The AI's conclusion was immediate and terrifying. These weren't separate phenomena. They were symptoms of something global. The void learned. First probe lasted 8 hours. The second, 4 hours. The third, 47 minutes. Each attempt was countered faster, as if the abyss was adapting to human technology. Cameras that should have survived collapsed. Memory cards recorded footage after being destroyed. Every observation seemed to provoke a more aggressive response. Dr. Sarah Chun documented a disturbing pattern. The longer researchers studied the footage, the more they began seeing the void in everyday objects: manholes, elevator shafts, even shadows on walls. Hardened scientists experienced panic attacks from mere 10-second clips. The void wasn't passive. It was learning, anticipating, and instilling fear. If the AI is right, the void may already be one step ahead of humanity. Would you dare to explore further? Comment discover to challenge the unknown, or retreat to survive unscathed. The latest seismic readings confirmed what no one dared hope or fear. The voids weren't just isolated anomalies. They were converging. Every single abyss, from Siberia to Patagonia, Greenland to northern Canada, was growing downward, converging toward a single point, 2,847 kilometers beneath the Earth's crust. Something massive waits there, something that has been patient for millennia. Dr. Chin's final report, classified immediately, revealed the human cost. 3 of the lead researchers had developed a shared delusion. They drew identical spiral patterns and insisted they could hear the breathing, even in soundproof rooms. Hardened geologists, used to deep-sea trenches and active volcanoes, were reduced to panic attacks after watching a 10-second clip. This was no ordinary fear. It was an evolutionary terror scaled up to planetary proportions. The AI systems designed to detect anomalies were behaving like sentient organisms. Each probe sent into the void lasted less time than the last. First probe, 8 hours of data. Second probe, 4 hours. Third probe, 47 minutes. The void learned. It adapted. Every attempt to measure it only accelerated the countermeasures. The classification protocol now ranked this Siberian void at the top of the hierarchy, not just for geological impossibility, not just for equipment failure, but for the psychological toll that could destabilize an entire research team. And global data suggested something chilling. Seismic pulses from these voids were synchronized across continents, as if the planet itself were channeling a single, unfathomable will. The next probe descent is scheduled for midnight. If the pattern holds, it will either provide answers or trigger something humanity isn't prepared for. Could we survive the awakening of a force that has lain dormant for eons? Some scientists whisper about the Great Filter, a test embedded in the very planet we inhabit. Are we meant to pass it? Or will this be the first hint that some mysteries are meant to remain sealed? The void's convergence was no longer theoretical. Across the globe, seismic arrays showed an instantaneous alignment. All voids pulsed together, converging on a single chamber deep beneath the Earth's crust. At precisely midnight, instruments detected a massive energy surge. The ground above vibrated subtly, the air shimmered with impossible pressure fluctuations, and AI systems froze with the warning. Observation may be fatal. Then it emerged. Not a creature, not a machine, but a form defying physics. A shifting lattice of shadows and energy, simultaneously massive and impossibly thin, twisting light and sound in ways no human eye or sensor could fully perceive. Gravity bent near it. Instruments reported negative mass. It was alive, not in a biological sense, but in its ability to adapt, anticipate, and respond to every human action. Dr. Chen's final observation was chilling. It knows we're here. It's been waiting, and now it's deciding whether we're worth keeping. The next probe launch is scheduled in 6 hours. Every government, every scientist, every person watching must decide humanity's fate. Comment descend if you risk discovery. Seal to protect the planet.